Cuco fans will come up to me, like, at the shows, like, whatever, they find me, and, like, especially if it's, like, young Latina teenagers, like, they'll just say the sweetest things, like, thank you for, like, doing what you're doing, like, representing for our culture, that kind of, like...
It's amazing.
The first time that happened, like, I legit cried.
Cuco is a 19-year-old independent musician who's catapulted from playing backyard barbecues to Coachella in just a year. Thanks to his unique sound, relatable lyrics, and the unwavering support and hustle of his savvy manager, Doris Muñoz. In an industry that's overwhelmingly run by men, Doris breaks barriers as a young woman of color running her own management company. She let me tag along for a day in her life, starting at her apartment in LA.
Good, how are you? Oh my God, thanks for letting me come invade your space. Your place is so cute. You have a roommate, right? Which is the most like Doris stuff?
Probably like the records, like the Bread record, or Michael Jackson, or the Linda Ronstadt stuff, or all the stuff I took when I was an intern at Columbia.
Doris founded her management company, Mija Management, in February 2017. And over the course of a year, she's developed a roster of talented young artists of color. As their manager, she oversees the professional development of all her artists' creative careers, from meetings with record labels to studio sessions, performance bookings, and so much more.
It's all encompassing, it's all hands on deck. It's like you're there in the trenches with your artists, whether you're there with them at a photo shoot or at a concert or on tour or a music video or whatever, but also like big picture where it's like I'm emailing all day long or phone calls or meetings or that kind of thing. It's like I'm there to connect the dots and like share the same vision as my artists to make sure that it's like followed through in every conversation that's had about their business.
Doris grew up surrounded by music in a family of missionaries. That meant everyone learned some kind of instrument to participate in the worship band, and every Sunday and holiday was full of music. Her first instrument was the saxophone, but she also took up violin, guitar, and is a self-proclaimed musical theater kid.
So the instruments are here.
Do you play still?
Chords are so easy on the uke. It's like literally like...
Because it's like little baby thing. Oh yeah.
It's like literally the easiest instrument ever. And then I have a baby Taylor because that was easy because I have like small hands anyway. So like that was like growing up, like all my uncles were playing like barred chords and stuff and like trying to teach me.
And you were like,
I literally can't. To this day, I still can't. So open chords only, I'm a noob, like forever.
I feel like growing up, when you're immersed in music, you're often immersed in like the performative side of it. So the behind the scenes stuff is stuff that you don't really get to see. When did you start to pick up on that and learn about it?
It was because I did like a complete like career path like switch in college. Like I did theater for 3 years and I thought I was gonna be a teacher like back at my old school district, like be like, what's that one movie, like Freedom Riders? Like, because I grew up in the hoods in San Bernardino, and it's like, it's literally the worst city in California when it comes to like dropout rate and like homicide rate and like unemployment and poverty line. Like it's crazy out there. So I thought like, cool, like I'm gonna give back to my community, be a theater teacher, like teach these kids to like get out of San Bernardino. But I was like, why am I going back to San Bernardino to do this? And I don't know, I feel like everyone has that like existential crisis in college, like trying to figure it out.
Well, it's interesting to hear you talk about like wanting to be a teacher and give back to your community, because that is a mindset that you're still taking into Mija Management.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't until like I started working for myself and then I could figure out that I can like bring like all of my passions into one place, because like I'm the only natural born citizen in a family of undocumented folks from Mexico, you know? So it's like, okay, how can I utilize like my privilege and being able to work in a field like this, but also like help my community along the way. So it's like working with artists like Hannah, who's like a daughter of like an Ethiopian refugee, or like Cuco, who's son of like 2 undocumented immigrants from Mexico. Like it was like mind-boggling for me to like see it all fall into place and be like, oh damn, wait, like I'm creating this world around me of like kids that grew up like me, but also their art is like amazing and deserves like so much more. And like I don't know, the way that like the last year is like unfolded for all of us has just like been really surprising, but like in the best way possible.
On top of running her own company and elevating the art and careers of other first-generation Americans, Doris is the founder and creator of Solidarity for Sanctuary, a series of benefit concerts that raise money to help families at high risk of deportation tackle mounting immigration-related legal fees. She does this all with barely a blueprint to follow, besides obsessively studying John Janik's career in her teens and finding a mentor in Tunji Balogun while she interned at RCA Records.
So when I close my eyes and try and picture famous artist managers, they're pretty much all white male faces. You're a woman and a woman of color. Is that something that you were constantly confronted with in this job? And is it a challenge? Is it an advantage in some ways?
In the beginning, it felt like my biggest obstacle, for sure. Like being like a young woman of color that like building my relationships as I go. I met with attorneys that like asked me how old I was with the first 5 minutes of our meeting, like whether it was like a joke or not. Like definitely had people ghost me. Like it's so funny. And now, y'all regret that, huh? Right. Looks at the camera. Y'all regret that, huh?
Before launching her company, Doris found herself in a series of odd internships and temp jobs. From a front desk position at Live Nation to A&R work with record labels, a stint in radio at KTLA, and even some time in the HR department of Roscoe's House of Chicken and Waffles. Juggling all those different kinds of jobs has come in handy, though, because to be as effective a manager as she is for multiple clients, Doris has had to master flexibility and creative problem solving, no matter what the situation might be.
So you kind of like don't really have a set day-to-day?
Not really. It's not like I go to like an office and have to be there by like 10 a.m. Like today, like Hana and Cuco have a session together like in the afternoon, but then Wife has a show at the Roxy, but then also like there was like meetings in the midst of that had to get postponed or rescheduled, like especially like in LA, like everyone's so flaky. So there's always so
one traffic jam and your whole day is ruined.
Honestly,
right?
Yes. What's up, yo? Yeah, we so busy now. It's kind of ridiculous.
So you're just popping though. You're just like, you got the whole MTV crew on you and shit.
Cuco, I know it's hard because she's right here, but why did you want to sign with Doris?
I didn't feel like she was like my manager. I felt like she was like the homie. And she was like the homie that was putting me on everybody. Sometimes like she'd be like, look, this like, she won't tell me I shouldn't, like I can't do something, but she'll like suggest that she like suggests it's like a bad idea. But at the end of the day, it's like, all right, you know what? If you want to like shoot yourself in like the foot, then like I don't think it's a good idea. But like,
so she calls you on stuff.
Yeah. She just makes sure like I'm not like just messing up.
That's awesome. Well, I think she's doing a pretty good job. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I mean, I'm doing like Coachella and Lala, so.
It works.
It
worked out.
Yeah, so I guess
yeah.
It's doing well.
What I told Cuco when I first like sat down with him was like, I just don't want some dude that has no idea about our culture and no idea of what you represent to like Richie Valens you. What you're doing is so pure. It clearly connects with these teenagers that like look like you. Like you're like their next door neighbor. Like you're a goofy ass kid from Hawthorne. Like growing up, I never got to see artists like the artists we work with like on the platform. You know, like ever.
And was that something that you realized like as you were finding artists that you really connected with, or was that something that you like went into this job thinking about and wanting to do?
I think naturally I connect with the artists that, you know, represent my culture, represent like the immigrant, like work ethic, that kind of thing, because I mean that's just like been like such a massive part of like my identity. And I feel like the message that they have to represent, I can add value to it because I have the life experience of being able to connect with that and like really portray that in like a conversation with a label or a publisher or a booking agent or whatever. It's like what these artists represent is like so beyond like the music. It's like who they are and like the people they genuinely like connect with. And like that's what like music is for. Like the artists are like the bridge between like the music and the fan. Hi.
It's that direct connection that makes show days Doris's favorite days. On show days, she's able to watch her artists live out their dreams, to witness young marginalized people finally feel represented, and to experience the uniting power of music that she's loved since her childhood, performing with her family in church.
So what's like the most rewarding part of this job?
I think just like seeing like the communities that like come together during these shows, like at a Cuco show, it's like all these like young Latino teenagers that are like, clearly this is like a safe space for them.
Right.
And they get to just like enjoy a night with like other kids that look like them, with a kid that looks like them on stage, and it's just like this energy that you just like can like cut it with a knife. You know, like I am so privileged to be able to like work in a field that I love because of the sacrifices that my parents made to come to this country. And I just want to be like an example of what product of an immigrant really is. I was a musical theater kid, so I went to school for musical theater for like a semester. I was like, nah, just kidding, I'm gonna be a teacher. And then I was like, nah, just kidding, I hate this. So then I doubled in communications, then got a job on campus as like a concert coordinator for like their amphitheater. And then once I got to like the major label system, that I was like, oh shit, like this is legit.
So
like,
what I'm learning from this is like, you're not only a business whiz, but like low-key you can sing too?
I'm out of touch, I'm out of luck. I'll pick you up when you're getting down. Out of all these